Hi everybody, we're back again. It's another video. It's my way or the highway. I am really excited today. Steve and I drove over here to Harrisonburg, Virginia, and I'm sitting with somebody who I have admired for a long time. And I don't know if you can guess who it is, but he's over here sipping some whiskey, and we've been talking some shit. So I want everybody to see. I'm here with Nick.
Thank you very much for coming out. Nice to see you.
I'm here at Alleycat.
Yes, ma'am.
This is amazing. Is this the first video cast you've been on?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good. I'm glad I got you.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm glad I got you. Well, people that don't know, Nick's been doing a podcast called No Lies, Just Bullshit. And it's fantastic. He talks with all the top tattooers, contemporary, older tattooers, and a lot of his friends that have good stories. And he's a great storyteller. And we listen to him on the podcast and we hear him hear a lot of stories. He'll tell some in between and stuff. Today we're going to ask him some questions and we're going to get some good stories.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay.
And, as far as like putting an array of different people on my show, I'll put your grandma on my show if she can tell a good story.
Yeah.
You know what I tell people it's a tattoo podcast, but it's really a storytelling podcast.
Yeah.
It's like, anchored by tattooing. But it's about storytelling.
And you have some great non-tattoo storytellers on. You're right. Like, there's one lady. You have a couple ladies.
Yeah, I have a couple ladies.
I'd have to look to see her.
Maybe
name.
Mary Jane.
Mary Jane.
Yeah.
She's
firecracker.
awesome. She is so fun.
Well,
I just love it.
She got her first tattoo when she was 71. She's almost suited now. She's been in the game about 5 or 6 years. Now, she's tiny, which helps. She's little. But, yeah, she went full steam ahead. She's getting covered.
And she lives in the neighborhood?
She did for a very long time. She's recently moved back to Alabama where she's from. But, the first time she was on No Lies, I didn't know her, but I liked her accent. Her accent was so southern and so perfect that I was like, I'm just going to take a chance. I'm going to ask this lady if she'll do my show. So I said to her in the lobby, she was setting an appointment with Trevor, and I said, excuse me, ma'am. She kind of looked at me, I was like, do you know what a podcast is? She goes, yeah, I know what a podcast is. Am I stupid? And I went, well, would you be interested in doing my podcast? And she goes, my friends will probably think I'm crazy for hanging out with a weirdo, but yeah, I'll do your podcast. And I was like, this is going to be perfect. So, we take her in there and get everything figured out, and then, whoever leaves, it's just me and her. And I asked her what year she was born and where she was from. And she said, Tuscaloosa, Alabama. I don't remember the year. She said, the interesting thing about Tuscaloosa is it's the national headquarters of the Ku Klux Klan. And I was like, this could go either way here. This is a crossroads for me and this lady.
Yeah.
And she goes, because I remember going to the meetings as a little girl. And I'm like, am I about to cuss this old bitch out?
Yeah.
And she goes, because me and my girlfriend would sneak in the back of the tents because we wanted to see them. We knew what they were. They were fucking white trash. And we just wanted to see them be white trash. And then she just started trashing them and just talking shit. And I was like, oh, perfect. Okay, we're the same. We're the same.
Yeah.
She can stick around, And then she just told amazing stories, about her life.
And you've had a pretty amazing life. You grew up in this area?
Yeah, about an hour and a half southwest of here in the mountains.
And so did you hang out in Harrisonburg when you were a kid? Was this like the big town or?
No, Roanoke was the big town for us. Roanoke was the big town.
Okay.
Yeah, I never really, the first time I came here, I got stuck here. Me and my wife were coming back from D.C., my first wife, and we got stuck in a snowstorm and ended up staying over on the hill here above Chick-fil-A. But yeah, no, Roanoke was the big city for us.
Okay.
And the town I grew up in, Clifton Forge, had about 2,800 people when I was a boy.
Wow.
Small.
And you got just one brother?
I have an older brother and a younger sister.
Oh, okay.
Three different daddies.
Oh, wow.
We didn't find that out until later.
Bigger family then, right?
Yeah, that's still my brother and my sister. We don't ever say anything weird like they're half, but yeah, older brother, younger sister.
Okay. And you guys just moved the shop. You guys had been in that same location. How long had that been a tattoo shop? Let's talk about that for a minute.
Alleycat Tattoo was there for 23 years.
Wow.
23 years.
Amazing.
Yeah. And our landlord was trash, and the building was also junk. They never did anything to that building, ever. And, but, we didn't want to move into the wrong place. We wanted out for a long time. Excuse me, but we didn't want to leave our neighborhood. You know, I saw on my phone earlier, I was looking for a picture, and there used to be a house 20 yards from here that they've since torn down that Andrew and I lived in.
Oh.
We moved in 2002.
Wow.
We came to town. And it is 20 yards from here.
I've heard the story.
This is our neighborhood.
Yeah.
The gentleman that had this building, a 70-year-old man, had cancer, operated out of this building for 30 years, was ready to close shop. And he really, really helped us get this spot. He wanted us here.
It's nice to find somebody that's down for you, you know.
And, you know, he's a Christian guy and a family guy, but he wasn't intimidated by us at all. We were, you know, I just always looked him in his eye and talked to him straight up. And like, you know, he was fully aware. He was like, well, if Nick's operated a business in this neighborhood for 23 years, he's obviously not a fool. And he, you know, he knew, I told him exactly what I was going to do with the building, how I was going to lay it out. He was great. But like a little side story from that, there's this old lady named Miss Irma, this black lady who I'm tight with. She's probably 72 or 73.
From here in the neighborhood?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so I go to her house one day, just randomly, just to kick it and hang out with her and her husband, Uncle Dave. Uncle Dave has had maybe 4 episodes in the middle of school. He's tremendous.
Okay.
And I said, well, Miss Irma, I'm getting ready to move my shop up the street about a quarter mile. She went, get out of here. Get the fuck out of here. That's how she acted. She gets her phone out. She calls Jim, the guy who's selling the building. She goes, you know, you act like you know everybody, like I don't know everybody, but I know everybody just more so than you think I do. And Jim went, Irma, what are you talking about? She went, say hi. And I went, hey, Jim. He goes, is that Nick? What's he doing at your house? I've been friends with her for 16, 17 years. You know what I mean? And she used to clean his house and clean this building for him.
Oh, wow.
And so they had known each other for a very long time.
That's awesome.
His wife and Miss Irma had cancer at the same time, did breast cancer together, did the whole thing together, mastectomies at the same time. And yeah, it's just a small world. So I think all that was kind of destined to wrap up that way.
Wow. Isn't it funny how some shit's just meant to happen?
Absolutely.
And when we had the opportunity to get our building,
yeah,
it kind of fell in our lap because
sure.
Crow put it there. Crow
Yeah.
made it happen. You know, when you meet somebody like that, isn't that the best feeling? To know somebody's like behind you and willing to help you get ahead, and because it's hard to find genuine people like that.
But
a lot of people act like they down.
Thanks, shit. But your tattoo shop is such a tattoo shop. It has such a tattoo feeling. You know what I mean? That's the other thing he gifted you. It wasn't just like here's an opportunity. Mm-hmm. I'm sure when you walked in there, the feel of that place. You know, it's just like I was talking to everybody that would listen about going to Old City, you know what I mean? Our old line, Jay's shop in Philly. Yeah. And it has a grimy, been here 25 years feel. And that's the only difficult thing about leaving down the street.
Yeah, right.
We forfeited that feeling, which I love. It's very hard to attain that feeling. And it's going to be hard to attain in such a big space here. But this is a new opportunity to have a different feeling. And the fellas deserve the space. You know, it's everything that we want it to be and more. But you have that tightness that you have, and the way the flash is, and then of course you've expanded on that and put it all over the ceiling and everything. But when I first went in there, it was just all that tattoo brand stuff in there. It had such a feel to it. Of just, you know, people talk about the magic, but that had a feel that's hard to. You have to go there. Really
you can't buy that, you know.
No.
People think they can just throw a bunch of Sailor Jerry flash on the walls.
That's not how it works.
It's got to be true grit, or it doesn't.
Well, just like I was saying about Steve's tattoos have a feel.
Yeah.
Your shop has a feel,
yeah.
And that feel is undeniable when you go in there.
Well, thanks.
Yeah.
I don't think we try. We just that's us.
It comes out like
when we were putting our stuff on the walls, it was like this is like a homage to the 90s, like, because we had a bunch of 90s shit. I was like, we need to update with some new stuff.
People come in the lobby here and they see all that picture machine stuff and all this biker stuff. I'm like, they're never going to see what they're looking for.
No.
And do I need to change that? But what they're really looking for is either in their phone,
right,
or in the mind of one of these guys. So they can come in here and talk to Jake, explain it to him, and then he can produce what they're looking for.
Right.
But I could put anything on the walls, it's not gonna be there. You know what I mean? So I might as well put the shit that inspires my crew, that I love to look at, and then the public can then come in and say, oh, this is what tattoo shop should feel like, should look like, used to look like.
Right.
I might as well just do it that way.
This is classic, yeah.
Because you just can't please everybody.
No.
So I might as well please the crew so that they can be accommodating to everybody. Does that make sense?
Yeah, because I like to have the stuff I want to look at on the wall.
Yeah.
In my station, on my ceiling, is the stuff I want to see the most. And Tim Lee Heisner sets up there, and there's some stuff from my boy Rento in Holland up there, and
yeah, let me tell you about that.
Shrewsbury stuff is up. You know, I got the stuff I want to see.
Last time when my brother and I went to Aachen, we're looking at a food truck, we're trying to order, and Rento comes up behind me, and he goes, hurry up with it, or something like that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yo, Josh, this motherfucker right here. And my brother speaks German, and so Rento's like talking to the people that are with him. And I don't know, I didn't get mad, but I was tensing up a little bit.
Yeah.
And he like grabbed me by the shoulders and just kind of gave me one of those. And he was like, hey, Rento, you're Nick, right? And he knew who I was already, and we have a mutual friend in John Glessner.
Okay.
But, man, he rips. His shit's cool.
He's so good. And
you know what's
weird is Steve and I were over there in 2019. We went to a show. It was a Lemmy art show. Everybody did a Lemmy of some. So Steve did it on a napkin drawing. I burnt some gloves with Lemmy designs. I put Lemmy on the knuckles and a bunch of tats on there. And I'm standing there looking at something. They're selling something. So what is it? I gotta get it, And I feel a tap. Annette, in a Dutch German accent. It's Rento. I hadn't seen him in 25 years.
Yeah.
He remembered me. I did not recognize him.
I was glad to met him, and
awesome.
If I had known, I would have immediately asked him to do the podcast. I just wasn't aware. I was kind of. I had something lined up with Bernie Luther, and he ghosted me.
Oh, that sucks.
I had something lined up with Mick, and he got food poisoning.
Oh, no.
And then I had Hank. So when you have those three, it's like, well, I should focus on what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And not just put it, because if I go to Pagoda or I go to whatever convention in Norfolk, I'll just put some irons in the fire. Hey, we can be around. What are you doing this day? Just try to figure it out. There, I had the big three, really. Hank, Mick, and Bernie. So I didn't need to do anything. Bernie ghosted me and then told me, I ghosted you. Sorry. Because that was his whole, and I was like, okay, motherfucker. And then Mick, I was supposed to get in the morning, so I skipped a crazy party I was hyped to go to. I actually went to it, saw how wild it was, and had to walk home in the rain sad because I was like,
what was so wild about this party, Nick?
I mean, the bartenders were doing cocaine.
Yeah.
There was just women everywhere. It was fun. It was just fun. It was just, good European fun. And, but I was like, but having an hour with Mick is way more important than this. And he wanted to do it early, so I needed to be ready. And I go downstairs and I'm waiting for him, and Hank comes out and Hank goes, oh, I'm sorry, man. He got sick. He left.
Oh.
He's like, yeah, he's been sick since last night. He had food poisoning. So,
that stinks.
It happens.
And Steve and I went and saw him. We were in Switzerland. Steve got kind of bamboozled into working in this shop for this friend of ours, or his friend of a friend, actually.
Uh-huh.
And it's a weird connection because this guy's wife is from Norfolk.
Okay.
She met him through her brother that works for the Still chainsaw company, who's from Germany, right? They're German. No, Swiss, I mean. They're from Switzerland. So we're in Switzerland. This woman's there. We didn't know her. She's like, oh, yeah, I'm from Norfolk. I'm like, whoa. And she's married to a tattooer. So Steve goes to work there, and on our last day, we're like, we're going to find Nick. That guy had his phone number. I cold called him on Friday. Got any openings? Yeah, come tomorrow. Like, okay. And he gave us an address. It's an hour and a half away.
Yeah.
We took a train back into the city, rented a car, and then came back, doubled back, and went up the mountain to see the wizard.
That's awesome.
And it was amazing. And him and Steve hit it off like fast friends. They're into the same kind of music and they're about the same age and stuff. And I got tattooed as well. We both got tattooed, and that little town was.
He was very nice to me, and
he's super nice.
So when I did the thing with Hank, it was live in front of an audience.
Yes.
And I had never done anything like that.
Okay.
But I was down, whatever. And a lot of No Lies Just Bullshit fans over there. And fucking what's my boy's name? Andreas went to his mom's house and brought her couch to the stage. And so I sat on her couch.
Awesome.
And Hank in her chair, and we talked. But it took me about 15 minutes to realize that Mick and his wife are front row center looking at me. And you know, that's like having Ed Hardy right there.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, oh fuck, that's Mick right there. And he listened the whole way through. And then a little bit later after that afternoon, Andreas says, come here, I want to introduce you. He took me over there and he said immediately, was like, Nick, I've been so excited to meet you. Come fucking believe it.
That's awesome.
Couldn't believe that he knew who I was.
They all listen to you and they follow you, and
that's pretty cool.
what you do is great.
Thank you.
You know, it's you got your finger on the pulse of what people want to hear.
Wow.
And then I want to ask you about that.
Ask me anything.
When you're talking to somebody now, like when I talk to somebody, I don't even make a plan. I'm just like, I got a couple things I want to know personally because most of these people are my friends. And do you think about it? You plan out how it's going to go, or like I want to hear this story, or you have a plot line at all?
I've done so many of them. So there's the people I know, which is super easy, like with you. There's the people that I don't know anything about, so I typically will ask them to do a timeline. And that kind of frees me up, because I can remember. So as we're going, I can keep up with where they're at, stop them, ask them a story about that specific time, and then remind them where we were and go forward. So I'm pretty good at that.
That's a good skill.
I'm pretty good at that. Yeah. I do that a lot if you listen to No Lies Just Bullshit. I'm like, okay, so you were here, you were apprentice this time, you know.
Yeah.
And then, you know, there's some where I don't want to get in my own way. So I will ask, you know, what year and where were you born? And then we'll just start talking. You know. Dana Brunson, I said that to Dana Brunson, and I didn't speak again for 45 minutes.
No, he had a prepared speech.
Did you listen to that?
Yeah, I did. And
it was crazy.
Well, you know what I got out of that is he has been interviewed 10,000 times. He's got it down.
Yeah.
He didn't want questions. He just wanted you to know that. He thought that's what you wanted.
Sure.
I think.
I was happy with it.
Yeah.
But I did ask him to expand on a few things.
Yeah.
Just because.
Yeah.
But it was so rich and told so well that I didn't. It didn't
no,
matter to me.
It was
that
great.
He had
to
it
the
ready.
point story. He wasn't messing around. Wasn't a lot of bullshitting, but
no, there wasn't.
It was a great story.
But the way and the way he did it, there wasn't room for a lot of bullshit. If I asked him a question, he answered it real quickly as if I should have figured that out already. He wasn't condescending, but it was just like, oh, well, I just said this, and here's the explanation for this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he was great, and he was sweet, and he just was like, I'm happy to help young people or anybody who asks me, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know how old he thought I was, but I'm like damn near 50. But yeah, so yeah, I don't normally have a plan. You know, if you told me, like your friend who you were just showing me a video of earlier, where's he from? Australia?
Yes, Johnny. Yep.
So if you said, Nick, you're going to do something with Johnny, I would say, is there anything I should know about Johnny? I would ask you that. But I really don't go into it with a plan or any sort of structure that really. Because again, if I can't get, some people you can't get to say shit.
I know what you're talking about.
It's a motherfucker.
And you've had a couple.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, at the end of that, I was pretty impressed because you were able to pull it off and still make it interesting and
that's my job.
Pull the the answers out of people without giving the answer. You know, because I know there's some styles of interviewing where people are like, "So you felt like this." And you did that, and then
they tell them to expand on it, and they're like, yeah, or maybe they didn't want to say that,
right,
or want that to be said. So, I do my best to be aware of how that person's acting and feeling. You know what I mean? I'm just, you know, as far as telling a story, I got that from like watching my uncle and my old man tell stories, but. As far as like these interviews and stuff, I just see them more as conversations, and I try to be sensitive to the person I'm talking to.
And I think your style is more conversational.
Yeah.
It's not like
I never have like
get
a
back
list
and
of
forth.
like,
Yeah. A lot of people will do that. They'll have an agenda and
yeah.
want to get somebody talking about something. I like how organic it is.
Me too. It's the only way to do it. I've finished and had people go, I thought you were going to ask about this. Almost like an I gotcha thing. And I'm like, no, I'm not interested in that at all. I don't give a fuck about whatever thing that might be extremely controversial to you. I don't care about. Because you know how it is in our business. You and I have actually talked a little bit about this. You might have somebody that you can't fucking stand that is a friend of mine.
Yeah.
And I don't give a fuck that you do or don't like them. I just try not to put you on the same road.
Yeah.
So sometimes someone will say to me, "Oh, I thought you were going to go into this thing because this guy didn't fucking like me," and I'm like, "I didn't know that was a thing," but I'm also not trying to get the scoop. If you tattooed 5 years or more, then you've got plenty to talk about, and we'll figure that out as we go.
Now that being said, there are some people that try and just stir up some shit.
There is. Yeah, there is.
Angelo, why don't you call me, brah? Okay, give me a call.
That's great. But you know,
he probably doesn't watch, so I don't.
But Angelo has had to cut other people out from starting shit. You know what I mean? There's been times where someone came in and came out of a thing we were doing, and he's just like, cut all that. I don't want any of that.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Oh.
So.
Well, yeah. I know I've said some stupid shit on camera. Didn't always get caught, but what are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do? Yeah, but I don't. Occasionally, like I'll say some inflammatory shit, like the new shop talk thing I'm doing on YouTube. There's like a cut, and it's on my page. It's like a short video of me saying, "Don't let anybody say that tattooing is not the greatest it's ever been. It is." But when I go through my Explore feed, there's people on there acting as if it's not, and they're fucking dead wrong, or they're not holding it up to the standard, holding themselves to the standard that tattooing deserves. So I'll say that publicly, and if someone doesn't like it, it's probably because they know that I'm talking about that. Maybe it applies to them, but I'm not trying to start shit. I'm trying to get people to like. I don't want to. There's things I don't like about my wife, but I'm just going to tell you what makes her great. You know what I'm saying? I would never tell you the things I don't like about her. Because it's none of your fucking business.
Right.
And when the public is consuming this content, it's none of their fucking business what's wrong with this thing. This thing's fine how it is.
Yeah.
And as long as we are in control of it in our own spaces, then we're in control of how good or bad it is.
I agree. And if
is that okay to say? Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I think a lot of people, they don't like what's happening over there.
Yeah.
But it don't fucking matter.
Not
like,
here, no.
Like in my neighborhood, in my shop, this shit is good.
Just good.
Tattooing is great.
Yeah.
We're using coil machines. We're doing great designs. We're all friends. We love each other. We're happy to tattoo.
Yeah.
We're thrilled to be doing tattoos. Down the street, they're mad. They're angry. They're pissed off. They dip and they can't make a line. They're all mad. That's not my problem, My life is good. My tattoo life is great. I've had a fucking great career. I feel lucky. I feel blessed. And a blessing is a earned gift.
There you go.
You have been blessed.
Yes,
it's not religious when I say it like that, You've been blessed, Nick. You work hard for tattooing. You make it good. You're good for tattooing.
Thank you very much. I appreciate
that.
It's everything to me.
Yeah.
It's everything to me.
It is. Now, name one thing you bought in here that wasn't with tattoo money.
It don't exist. It don't exist.
Yeah.
I bought this motherfucking building.
Yeah.
But I've also done my best to push my tattooers, never take advantage of them or any other tattooer, and give back. Like try to record these stories because they matter after we're dead.
Yeah.
After we're dead, like someone wants to know what Philly tattooing was like in 1995, they can pull up Steve Tiberi's 3 episodes. And they can go, well, here's the fucking blueprint for what it was like in Philly in 1995. Because Steve said so because he was there.
Right.
That's the shit I love. Yeah. That's the shit I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And that's why I do what I do. I've had motherfuckers DM me and say, I'm learning to tattoo, and my boss says listening to every episode of The Luscious Bullshit is a requirement.
Good. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love that.
And that's someone telling that
That's
to
going
me.
to take somebody a long fucking time.
It's gonna take
Nick.
them a
You got
while.
a lot of shows.
It's going to take them a while.
Oh,
But if they want it.
yeah. I've listened to more than half of them, at least.
I appreciate the support.
Yeah. I started thinking about them.
There's a ton
I
of them.
can't think of two things at once. Come
Yeah.
on, y'all.
There's so many of them. Like, I don't hold my friends to the standard of having to listen to. There's some that I'm like, your first one's pretty wild. Like, you told wild, great Miami story. And so, like, anytime I meet a female tattooer or a girl that's really enthusiastic about tattooing, I'm like, you should listen to it, and that's the first episode. But then when we did 100, you were asking me questions. That's not quite as important. But your first one really is. Richie Montgomery's is wildly important.
It's very, yeah.
Like, it's something else. It's really something else. So, you know, like, my people that are friends of mine that are in the business, I'm like, you have to listen to Richie's. It's imperative. Like, it should be mandatory. You should not be able to get a license without listening to that episode, because it's so fucking cool.
And there are a lot of important ones on there.
There are. The list is crazy. I feel so fortunate, like, that so many people have been willing to give me the time.
Yeah.
And, you know, I don't want to, you know, brag on my own dog too much, but I've had a lot of not everybody, but a lot of really, really influential, great tattooers.
And people want to hear what they have to say
Yeah.
too, and they want to hear stories, and they don't want to hear just an interview. They want to hear stories.
I also don't treat the big dogs any different than I treat my cousin Dwayne when he does an episode. So
they're like, God damn it, Nick, where's my champagne?
Right. I give him some champagne, just like I do Dwayne.
Okay.
But you know, I treat everybody the same. So if you're a big dog, I still talk to you like you're a you know, people used to always be like, oh, one of these days you're going to get Ed on there. I'm like, if I do, which I'm not going to, but if I did, I would ask him about his early days of tattooing when he was in a street shop. That's what all I would care about. I wouldn't ask him about 2000 Dragons.
Right.
Not that I don't care about that.
But we know
But
about
we know
that.
about that. I would just ask him about those
What
early
was
days.
that first shop when he was Don Talbot in Vancouver?
Exactly.
Like,
You know,
what was
street shop.
that? There was nothing else going on up there.
And that's all I want to hear about. I want to hear about the day-to-day.
Yeah.
The clients, the images, you know. And then he worked the pike too, right? You know?
Yeah, he worked all over.
I want to hear about that. That's the shit I care about.
Yeah.
I would probably go overboard about asking him about Stoney. And even though that documentary's there has to be a West Virginia aspect of that conversation that I could get to the bottom of easily, because I love West Virginia.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That has to exist. So that's the stuff I would ask about. I wouldn't mistreat a guy as big as Ed, but I also would treat him like a tattoo. You know?
You know what I want to know from him? I want to know who he invited when he was going to Hawaii. When he was leaving Hawaii, he was going to Japan. He allegedly invited somebody, and I want to know who that person is. And only he knows.
Well, yeah. So we may never.
Because the other person that thought they knew is dead now. So,
Yeah.
if anybody knows, call me and tell me, because I want to know.
Western Magnetic Tattoo, Yorktown. Look it up.
Chesapeake.
Chesapeake, sorry.
It's close. 7 cities, you know.
It's very close.
Close enough. So, what year were you born?
78. June 10th.
Oh, those were still good years.
Me and Howard Wolf and Kylie Green have the same birthday.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, and let's talk about an accent, okay?
The best.
Miss Kylie, I could just listen to Miss Kylie talk all day long. Kylie,
You know, earlier you
God,
mentioned
you're so sweet.
you mentioned Mario's episode earlier.
Yeah.
I had a handful of people tell me that we lost them because the first hour is just hip hop.
Right.
With Kylie's, it's only about an hour and a half, and the first 45 minutes is honky tonk music. It's just honky tonk music. And it's like deep album cuts from old Roger Allen Wade records and things that no one knows.
Yeah.
It's fucking great. But yeah, her accent. As a matter of fact, on the new Shop Talk on YouTube, the intro is her saying Shop Talk like a fucking hit.
Good. I gotta go listen to it too.
I was like, I just texted her. I said, I need you to record yourself saying Shop Talk. Do it like 10 times, send them to me. And we used it like the third one.
That's awesome.
Over and over again.
It's so good. She's so sweet. Oh, yeah. So when did you?
You know how I met Kylie?
How?
You know how I met Kylie? Yeah. There was a painting in the station where Steve's working.
Okay.
It's a crawling panther wearing a Graham Parsons nudie
Oh
suit
yeah, I saw that.
with the pot leaves and the cross.
Yeah.
And I had never met her. That's not true. I met her at Absolute Art, but it was just like, this is Nick, and she went her way to get tattooed. She was getting tattooed by Hoyer a long time ago. And that was like 15 years ago. So I didn't even know that was her that I met. I DM'd her and I said, what are you gonna do with that Parsons panther? Are you gonna make prints? And she said, I'm gonna give it to you because everybody thinks it's an Elvis suit.
Oh.
You're the first person I knew was Graham Parsons.
Oh, that's so awesome. That's great.
She drove that. She fucking first she bedazzled it. She put rhinestones on the motherfucker, and she drove it here from Atlanta and handed it to me. Me having never met her.
Wow.
She's like, I was coming to Virginia. I gotta go to Richmond, and this is like pretty far away to Richmond.
Yeah.
But you deserve this. You knew who this
Oh,
was.
that's so sweet.
And we just talked about music for the next hour and a half, and then she went on to Richmond. And then we just started hanging out, and she did the show, and we've been great friends ever since.
That's awesome. Well, I want to know about you getting tattooed in your early years of getting tattooed. What was the first tattoo you got? Did you get it in Roanoke?
I got it at Danny Fowler's Ancient Art.
From who?
From Andrew. Or no. Andrew drew it. Eddie Geary did it. I don't know if you remember Eddie.
I haven't heard.
Eddie worked for Danny for many years. He's a black and gray guy. It was a travel armband, and I can only afford half of it because my arm's this big. And Andy drew it, Eddie tattooed it, and I came back about 3 weeks later, and Andrew drew on the rest of it.
Oh, good.
And finished it.
Okay.
And I had met Andrew. He had tattooed a couple of my buddies before I was 18. And so I had met him. And then I just couldn't stop. I just was like, I got tattooed constantly after that. I just could not.
Spending all your money getting tattooed.
I worked for AT&T, and I was information. Like what city?
Yeah.
Louisiana. Or what city?
Yeah.
You'd say New Orleans. What listing? What the tattoo shop name was. That's what I did.
Okay.
But I went up pretty quick, and I had 90 people working for me.
Wow.
And I got this tattoo of Joe Capobianco flash.
Okay.
There's hardly any red in it anymore, but
It's red's gone.
Yeah. And they all started treating me funny at work. Now, our clients are on the phone. They don't see us.
Right.
But all my supervisors just acted like my value went down. And I just, in real time, was like, I have to get away from this world and into the world where my friend Andrew is, where my friend Troy is, my friend Mark. They're doing whatever the fuck they want to do. They're listening to Social Distortion at work. They're wearing the clothes they want to wear at work.
Yeah.
And they don't give a fuck. I need to get away from this world and into that world. But I just got tattooed all the time. I just got tattooed by those dudes regularly. Troy Herstein, he doesn't tattoo anymore, but he worked for Danny, and he did most of the stuff on my arms. And the concept, I wanted to get a Japanese sleeve, and so I was like, but the guys in Ancient Art weren't like. I was like, can Danny Fowler do that? And they're like, yeah, but Danny didn't like me at all. We had a couple words a couple times. She's like, Anna's heard a story.
Sorry.
That's all right. And so, but they were like, Danny's not going to tattoo you. But they didn't tell me that Timothy and Chris O'Donnell were in Richmond.
Oh.
So I just started getting the stuff that they wanted to do, which was new school stuff. You know what I mean?
So that was
that's what
early 2000s, you think?
That was like 97.
Okay.
I got my first tattoo June of 96.
These dice with the crown?
Yeah.
Watch out,
Spain.
that's MS-13. They'll deport you for that.
I'll be all right.
It will. The ice is coming.
Yeah, all that stuff. The bomb. All that stuff was just like...
And what of this lady who did this one? This big lady.
You know, Joe will love this. So
yeah.
So I said I want to get a Joe Capriano girl. Andy goes, I can do a Joe Capriano.
Okay.
Don't worry about it. And so I went by his place, and at the time he had an underground tattoo shop underneath what do they call it? X-ray technician. What is that?
X-ray tech.
Isn't there a bigger name? Anyway, he was under
Radiology.
Radiologist.
He was in the basement of a doctor's office, and it was so fucking cool in there. He had like a love seat that had like a Chevy front end behind it.
Ooh.
He had like the lamp with the leg. It was just cool as fuck. He had dope lighting and cool ashtrays and cool fucking, just cool shit.
Yeah.
And he had a pompadour, and I was pretty thugged out at the time. And he was like, yo, this is the address. And I get there, and it's like, you gotta walk across this like, I don't know, like a field, and then there's like a stairway that goes underneath this building. And I've got 2 rolled blunts and 2 40s with me. And he's like, what have you been listening to? And I'm like, Hank Williams and Wayne Hancock. Because I was raised on Hank Williams, so I just got into Wayne Hancock. But I'm like, my attitude is like, Wu-Tang. Like a motherfucker.
Okay,
But I was listening, and he goes, oh, put on a Wayne Hancock record. So I put on a Wayne Hancock record. And I was like, I see you got some ashtrays. He's like, do whatever you want. So you got a refrigerator? Stuck my 140 in the fridge, opened my other 40, lit a blunt, and he started drawing her on, He just started drawing her on. And he took his time, we hung out, took about 3 hours. We both got stoned and we just had fun.
And you're like, this is my life. This is the life.
This is life.
And, when I meet new tattooers now, a lot of people are like, ugh, why are you talking to them? Why are they tattooing? The same reason I wanted to be into tattooing. Because it's the fucking coolest thing ever.
It's the balls.
Like, it's it, man. It's everything.
Good as it gets.
Yeah.
But yeah, so, Andrew and I, he's done a bunch of tattoos on me too. A bunch of tattoos. But, yeah, we just been a team for fucking ever.
That's awesome. You don't hear, especially in this business, people been working together 10 years, 20 years.
Andrew and Porter both been with me 21 years.
Yeah, that's almost unheard of.
Andrew left right before I took over the shop, and then came back about 5 months later. But he had a place downtown at the time that was private, and he and I never stopped communicating. I'd go down there and buy a flash off of him, and we'd still talk and stuff. And one day, I got a call from him, and he was like, "Hey, let's get breakfast." And I was like, "I hope this motherfucker, really," because we moved up here together.
Yeah.
He had just broken up with a girl, and I had just gotten divorced from my first wife. We rented that little house, and I put him through a lot with it because I was wilding out. I was partying like.
What does that mean, wilding out?
I mean, just bringing home a ton of broads from the club and partying late every night and drinking, 4 or 5 40s when I got off of work, and taking a lot of bong rips. And he's just trying to get good at painting.
Right.
He's just trying to
doing his homework every night.
Every night. I mean, working hard.
You can tell.
And, and so we met up for lunch or breakfast at Cracker Barrel. And I knew he wanted something because he's vegan. And I'm like, they put butter in the water down
They
there
do.
at Cracker Barrel.
It ain't nothing vegan there. Not even the toast.
He goes, I can get some taters. Andy's country. I don't know if you know that. Andrew's from Franklin County, Virginia.
Okay.
Moonshine capital of the world.
Oh.
He might not sound like it, but he is country as hell.
Okay.
He's like, I get some taters. And I went, all right, that's my boy. And we sat down. I'll never forget. He took a sip of coffee, and he goes, I want to come home. And I was like, just tell me your terms, and I'll agree to them. He told me his terms. They're the same terms that we're on today. Straight up.
That's so good.
That's my dog.
Well, I'm waiting for a phone call myself. I don't know if I'm going to get it, but I'm waiting. One day, maybe he'll call me back. I don't know.
Who? Andrew?
The one that got away.
Oh.
No, from my shop. I had one to leave.
Yeah.
I want him back.
I know who you're talking about.
I want my baby back.
I know who you're talking about.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Oh, I think about it every day.
I'll tell you, I'm yapping a lot if we've had enough.
No, keep going. This is perfect.
Andrew, the reason he left Alleycat the first time is because he had a disagreement with one of the owners. He tattooed one of his homeboys after hours. And the owner said, no, I need a piece of that. And Andrew's like, I didn't charge him anything for that. He's like, I still need my piece of that. And Andrew's like, there's no money. And he goes, yeah, but you use my electricity. And Andrew went, you will never see out. You and I will never understand one another. Yeah. So I'm out. And you don't get your piece of that. And so, Andrew I don't have any, I don't harness his skills or abilities. He's in full control of that. But because of the deal we made at Cracker Barrel, if I need something, he'll help me. If I need a flyer, if I need a t-shirt.
Yeah. And
if I get a flyer, it's a fucking lesson. It's I got a new one right here somewhere for Nate Hall's show. It's a fucking, it's a workshop. Yeah, look at that. God. That's a lettering workshop. How many styles of lettering are on there?
10 or more.
Okay.
This thing is so cool. It's on the back of our door in our shop. Like, we think of your 40th birthday every day.
Yeah, it's a workshop. And so...
He's a grown-ass man.
Yeah. and all that shit, all I told him was the dates and the place. And he did everything else on his own.
He's got it.
But so...
That's a rare thing.
Yeah. So, part of the reason that we work the way we do is because I don't stifle that. I don't get in the way of it. Anything he wants to do, he's able to do. And that goes for all of them.
Include coming in after hours and tattooing.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, you got to let them have something.
What your crew has to know is that if it's important to them, then it is important to you. And, there's motherfuckers who think the opposite. There's motherfuckers who think all these people should know they can be replaced. You know what? Unfortunately, I may have to replace any of them, but I don't want to. Because if I did, I wouldn't give them the job.
And that's how I feel. I hire to keep them.
Yeah.
I want to keep, if I like you enough to hire you, I want you to stay forever. If there's a problem, tell me so I can fix it.
But, I don't want to be too personal, but there was a time, a long time ago now, that Andrew was going to leave. And he was going to go to Northern Virginia, D.C. area. And he came to me. And, we change each other's diapers. We've known each other for so long. So I can tell when he's uncomfortable. And he comes up to me and asks if we can talk. And I can see that he's uncomfortable.
You know immediately. And
I say, hey, dog, whatever it is, it's fine. Yeah, we can talk. Let's talk. We walk outside. He lights up a cigarette immediately. And I'm like, yo, man, I'm telling you right now, whatever it is, it's cool. No matter what it is, it's okay. So he tells me he's got to leave. And I was like, well, and it hurt me.
Oh, I bet that hurt.
Hurt like a motherfucker. Because that's, and I'll be straight up with you. A lot of my legitimacy came from him being my guy. But long before No Lies Just Bullshit, he was well known throughout the business. And so when someone's like, who owns Alleycat? Nick, they might not know. There's a lot of tattooers in the South that knew. But if they go, then immediately they go, Andy Connor works there. And that changes the game. Oh, fuck, that must be a high-level shop. Because Andrew Connor's the illest. And so he brought a lot of legitimacy.
And Nick, how nice of you to say that. Because so many people won't admit that something like that. And it's fucking awesome if you say.
He's my brother. It's just the truth.
That's great.
I could say it or not say it. It wouldn't change it for me, true.
Yeah. That's terrific.
So he brought a lot of legitimacy to me being the guy. And, I sold jewelry all throughout the East Coast. And I met Angelo in 98. I met a lot of motherfuckers. I met Will Lolly in 98. I met a lot of people all up and down the fucking coast.
Right.
Many, many years ago. And I maintained relationships. But I wasn't known like he was known. And so when I was like, this is going to be hard. And then I accepted it. And then I looked myself in the mirror and said, I can't hang my self-worth or the value of the shop on Andrew. Not only is it not fair to me, but it's not fair to Andrew. I can't make him feel like him leaving is hurting me or doing something to me. It might hurt me.
Because that'll bother him.
Right.
Yeah.
And he's given me so much. I mean, and I try to be this, I think he would say I reciprocated, gave him as much,
Sure.
But, so then I just actively was supporting that and trying to say, well, how can I be a part of your transition? How can I be a part of your move? What can I do? Do you need me to call anybody up north? Anything like that. He's like figuring it out. And, you know, the logistics of it just weren't feeling good for him. You know, it just wasn't feeling good for him. And so he ended up never leaving. But me mentally letting him go and him severing from me tentatively, we both grew as men exponentially, I feel like. We really, really changed as people.
That's pretty cool.
I think so.
Yeah.
We both, because, you know, there's growth on the other side of that.
Right.
When you accept certain things, you grow from that.
That's right.
And
as painful as it is, I would have broke your heart to watch him leave.
It was
That
so
station
rough.
be empty without him in it.
It'd be so rough.
That would suck.
Well, like I said, I can't tether to him, and he can't to me. We are in so many ways, but when it comes down to, like, as a man, he's like, yo, dog, I gotta do this. I'm like, well, how can I make it easy for you? You know, because that's what he deserves. He deserves a friend and a boss who says, let me make it easy on you because you've done so much for me.
And he needs the support. It's nice to have the support and the approval, you know.
Yeah.
One of the guys that works for me said, he's trying to get into real estate, young Chris.
I saw it and I was like, I know this motherfucker can quit tattooing.
No, he didn't. And he promised me tattooing is my love, my number one love.
He wants that bread.
He just wants to do something that's maybe a little more stable. He did not like the slow season.
Yeah.
He did not do well in the slow
A lot of these young
season.
boys didn't.
No. But I forgot what I was going to say about it anyway. Thinking about, if he might leave or something like that, well, I want to see him go off and do something and be good and do it.
Yeah.
I'm sad for me. I'm losing him after Steve and I trained him. And I'm sad for tattooing because it's a good tattooer.
He's good for clients. He's a
great.
sweet guy.
He's
really very personable.
Very sweet guy. His dad was a car salesman.
Okay.
So
he's a bullshitter.
Natural
born bullshitter.
You should get him on here. You
I would love to.
Just yak forever.
We've bullshitted a handful of times, but I would love to get him on here.
No.
Send him up here.
I will. And he can talk to anybody. Like anybody. I have seen him turn a mad bee into a happy little mouse.
Yeah.
I
love it.
And
yeah, he's a good dude. I like Chris.
yeah, he's been wonderful. I can't even think of him leaving, And it's only been 8 years with us.
Yeah.
Can't imagine.
I'm telling you, me and Andy have been doing it for a long, long time. I met him when I was 15 years old. He was already tattooing.
Damn. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's crazy. And so tell me, and I want to know another first. I want to know how you got hired in Alleycat at the first place and what your first day was like. What were you doing?
Well, so I was getting tattooed at Ancient Art and in Roanoke, and Troy, one of the tattooers there, started a jewelry company, and I left AT&T to manufacture body jewelry and sell it for him.
All right.
Then he was going to open Alleycat, and he and I were going to do it together. He said, you need $7,000 by September 1st. I said, I can get $7,000 by September 12th. He went, sorry, dog. And turned to Grizz.
Oh.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Oh, that sucks.
So I went to my aunt. I had never seen $7,000 in 2000. I had never seen $7,000.
Yeah.
And my aunt, who worked for Merrill Lynch for 40 years, said, I'll lend you $7,000 to open your business. And he just immediately was like, I ain't got time for that shit. He went to Grizz. Of course, Grizz pulled it out of his fucking pocket. He owned a tattoo shop for 25 years.
Right.
And so they opened, and he gave me a job here. And I did it just part-time, and I come up here and stayed a couple days a week. I was doing it at Skin Thrills in Roanoke. I was doing it here, and I was doing it at a shop called Bulldog in Blacksburg, which Troy was also part of.
Okay.
He had a beef with the piercer here. He's like, and he'd known him forever. He's like, I've known this motherfucker since we were 14 years old. I don't know what I'm going to do. I go, you ain't got to do nothing. I'm going to fire him, and I'm going to be the full-time guy.
Okay.
And he had the stones to fire people. Troy was not built that way. And I was like, well, that's not personal. You're saying he's got to go. I'm just gonna say it for you. No problem. It wasn't nothing against the guy, but
Is that the first person you ever fired?
No.
Oh.
Because I fired other people for him because he had the stones to do it.
Okay.
But he taught me business is business.
Right.
And so and in those days I also didn't have my personal life wrapped up in it. If I had to fire somebody that works here right now, I'd be devastated.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I took that job, and so when Alleycat opened, to give a better picture, the weekend Alleycat opened, they were undermanned, and I was coming up here to run the front because while I knew how to pierce, the main piercer was gonna be the guy, and I talked Andrew into coming with me. Come up here and just take walk-ins, dog. It's a new shop. It's right by college. I know you can use the bread. Just come up here and take some walk-ins. And so he and I started coming up on the weekends, and then when I fired Scott, I was like, yo, I'm going full-time. I want you to come with me. I just got a divorce. He broke up with the girl. I said, I want you to come. He's like, Harrisonburg? I'm like, yo, you're going to be the big dog up there.
Yeah.
Can't nobody fuck with you up there. And so he and I moved into Motel 6. Me, him, and my dog, Chopper. And, we stayed in Motel 6, or we stayed in the shop. We had no bread. I found a lot of nice young ladies that let me stay with them from time to time, that took mercy on me and let me do some laundry and fed me and stuff.
That's nice.
And, we didn't have no cell phones. So right across from the old shop is CVS. And every day, I walk to CVS, I buy the local newspaper, and I look for houses for rent. And I go, Connor, there's a house right up the street here for rent. It's $800 a month. He goes, it's $600 a month. He goes, go get it. And I go, I ain't got it. It's going to be a deposit.
Yeah.
He pulls out $1,200. He goes, go get it. I go, don't you want to look at it? He goes, I don't got no fucking car. If it's 3 blocks away, go rent it. So I call the guy, I meet the guy. I rented that day, and we moved in.
That's awesome.
And that was that.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's a good start.
The old man, I pulled out the bread. The old man goes, you get this money selling tattoos? I go, yeah. He's like, you sure? I went, motherfucker, it's cash money. He's like, fair enough. The lease was like a paragraph. And then I signed and he signed.
That's great.
Yeah.
I wish shit was like that now. The last house I rented when I moved to Chesapeake, you call the place, you give them your credit card number online, and then they give you a code. You can go open the door. You're by yourself.
Yeah.
But they got your credit card.
Sure.
And you look at it, and then you email them and tell them if you like it or not. And if they approve you, you're in. I never met anybody. I just signed some shit online.
Wow. Yeah,
Kids don't know what it's like to shake hands with a landlord and have to deal with a landlord,
Yeah.
That was fun.
The house that we rented, this guy and his 6 brothers and sisters grew up in the house.
Okay.
And they had a little store next to it called Landis Grocery. His last name was Landis. And Andrew left after about 18 months. I remember one time I was in the driveway with these girls, and I had like a crazy system in my Cadillac, and we were drinking. It was about almost 4 a.m. and the fucking window opens. Andrew's head comes out. He goes, "It's 4 a.m." And I go, "Yeah, bro." The next day he goes, "I rent an apartment downtown. I'm leaving." I went,
Aww.
"I get that. I understand. I was hard on him. I didn't make it easy to want to stay in the house with me."
Well, he's
You know
a little
what
more low key.
A lot more.
Even to this day.
He's like, "You got bitches." He didn't say that. He goes, "You got girls dancing on the hood of your car at 3 a.m." And I go, "Well, they're talented. I mean, what are you going to do with it?"
It's
They're
entertainment.
just expressing themselves.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I had a couple other roommates in the house, and I was getting ready to go to a show in D.C., and one of the landlords, Carl, the guy who rented me, is his brother. He pulled in, he goes, "What's this mess? Carl talking about you're leaving." I go, "I'm out, man. I got 2 more months. I'm out here, or a month, something like that." And I started to pull out. He opens the door to my Cadillac and jumps in the back seat. He goes, "You ain't going nowhere." And I fucking slammed on the brakes, and I had a 45 like in the pouch behind the seat. And that when I hit the brakes, that motherfucker flopped open, and I kind of turned around like this. He went, "Okay, Nick." He went 30 days. Yeah, 30 days, dog.
Hope you got your deposit back.
I didn't even ask. I figured it probably wouldn't. And we were having hardcore shows in the house. It was a crazy situation.
Really?
We had 90 kids in that fucking
In Harrisonburg.
Tiny 2-bedroom house.
Where'd you find these kids?
Oh, there's a box in
They're
here.
wild around
Yeah.
here, huh?
Well, Macrock's been huge here. That's like
Okay.
anyway. Yeah, there's a scene. for
Okay.
sure.
All right. I live on the other side of Virginia. There ain't no scene there that I know of, but I'm old. There could be something they're not telling me about.
Animals.
There's always stuff.
What's going on over there? 'Cause
I mean, just in general, Virginia Beach has always had at least some level of like the Richmond runoff.
okay. Yeah, I know. I know some friends that they go to Richmond. All their friends
Sure.
are Richmond.
Yeah.
And when they have parties, everyone comes from Richmond.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody coming from Chesapeake.
Yeah. That ain't popping in Chesapeake.
Tell you, since I left New Orleans, I haven't seen a fucking parade. Okay, they don't have parades in Chesapeake, all
Oh,
right?
that's a different episode. That's for y'all. That's an episode for y'all.
They are not having fun, okay? They are. Well, the fun is at my house and my shop, but
There you go.
other than that, Chesapeake pretty lame. And Steve had his back surgery, so it's been pretty low-key at my house lately. Although he's doing better.
It was great.
Yeah, he's doing a lot better. He's glad he's out of pain. That's a bad thing. A lot of tattooers that go through that back shit.
Yep.
They don't realize. And I tell my guys, they're bending over. They're looking like, they're tattooing like this. Like, you guys,
It's crazy what these motherfuckers will do.
they don't want to
When
listen.
you can just get a better bench or a better chair or just tell your client, this is what I need you to do. But they'll contort like a motherfucker to avoid that conversation or the purchase or whatever it may be.
Well, Vivine, who's been tattooing 50 years, somebody told me that they asked her, how is her back not killing her? And she said she has a tall massage table and she stands for almost every tattoo, and that if she's sitting, the table will be almost at her eye level so that she doesn't have to hunch over, so it's right there. And I tried that a couple times. It's different. Once you get used to it, though, I think it
Well, it's
helps
like
some
anything else.
backs.
You got to commit to it and just do it,
Yeah. You got to remember. I forget. I'm all, next thing you know.
Well, you won't forget if you get rid of your chair and fucking jack your table up.
That's
and then
true.
you got to be forced to do it, just like your high desk at home. Just you set it up and then you're forced. You're in that situation.
That's why you make the big bucks, Nick.
That's why I got this office with
This real wood,
whatever this
real redwood.
Yeah, cherry right here. Yeah.
It's awesome. I love the setup. I love this new shop.
Thank you very
And
much.
I couldn't be happier for you guys.
Thank you.
And I'm
Very
a little
proud.
jealous you have so much room, because I wish I could hang all my shit up. And if you need more, let me know.
I got a lot more in the back. It still needs to be hung, but yeah.
It looks great in here.
Thank you very much.
And what's your plans for the future?
I've got, as far as like the look and the setup, I've got like this archway I'm going to put in over here.
Oh, okay.
At the one that's sort of the backdrop for
Yeah.
the shop talk space you saw back there.
Yeah.
I'm going to put that across the hall right here.
Okay.
And then at the end of every station is like that flat, and
Yeah.
it's fucking white. Jesse Struthers painted one panel for us. It's up.
Okay.
But I've got a couple other guys that are going to paint panels for that. I'm just trying to just fill this motherfucker to the brim and just give these guys something to look at and inspire them. And, when tattooers come here, I always make a point to kind of give them a tour and show them the original stuff.
Yeah.
And, my goal for the future is just to keep, supporting my guys in a way that they can elevate their game and they can feel good about what they're doing. They put the room, to tattoo in this room is to tattoo under pressure.
Yeah.
They're coming for each other. And it's not in a competitive way. It's in I want to do my best so that when they walk over here and see what I'm doing, they want to do their best.
Yeah.
And that's how these people treat each other. Every tattooer in here. And so I want to continue to facilitate in a way that all they have to do is maintain that. It's hard to be a great tattooer.
It is.
It is hard to push and elevate and know how fucking hard it is to accomplish a tattoo that you like and then go, I'm going to post this motherfucker on Instagram so that my heroes and their friends can look at it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of pressure. If you care, if you love this game and you care, that's not an easy thing to do. But if you're already feeling that pressure in the room you're in, it'll give you a little more confidence. And I love when these motherfuckers treat everyday tattoos like they're just as valuable as back pieces. That also makes me very happy. So anyway, I'm going to continue to facilitate these guys to do great shit. And I'm going to keep on doing Elijah's bullshit. And I'm going to keep on putting out nothing but, you know, like that new show, Shop Talk Show, is just here to counter the negative bullshit that other people.
There is a lot of people like to complain.
And I ain't having that shit. So I'm going to continue to do that just to balance the thing, right?
Tattooing is great.
I'm not trying to hate on nobody.
Yeah.
But I want to balance the content that's available.
Yeah.
There's plenty of people being like, that want to talk about everything that's wrong with this thing, or they want to talk about the things that aren't for the public. I'm going to counter that being like, by showing tattoos that are sick. Hey, here's a Steve Tiberian tattoo. Look how ill it is. Here's why it's this ill. You should go to fucking Chesapeake and get one of those. They're available. And I'm going to put that picture up, and you're going to see it, and you're going to, man, Nicholas likes that tattoo. I should go get something from Steve.
I hope it works.
That's what it does work.
And I hope so. He hopes so, too.
And I got tattoos.
That's right.
You know why? Because I was like, yo, my friend Steve was ill.
Thank you. Thank you.
She already knew about Steve.
Because he was worried. He was like, I hope I get some stuff over there.
Yeah.
I said, don't worry. When they find out, they're gonna know.
But anyway, that's what I'm going to continue.
Well, and how are your kids? Are your kids gonna tattoo?
My boy.
Young Jake, is he gonna be a tattooer?
That's what he says.
All right.
He just finished the Tattoo Apprentice book.
Oh, good.
He just finished the book.
Good.
The other day, I see him over there, and I'm getting ready to say something to him. He's reading. I don't want to interrupt. And he looks up in the book. He goes, "I got 2 chapters left."
Oh, good for him.
He traces about 3 or 4 nights a week. He traces tattoo designs, and this summer he's going to do 2 days a week.
Okay.
Just hanging and he came to me and said he wanted a tattoo.
That's awesome.
You know, and I'm not delusional. He's 14, so he might find pussy or something else and think it's better.
Might discover hip hop.
Maybe he's the next, Yellow Wolf or something.
That's awesome.
But he says he wants a tattoo. He came to me and he was like, I want to make bread, but I want to travel. And I think tattooing is probably the way to do it. That's what he said to me. And I was like, yeah. And I said, if you're serious about it, he can get he can get an apprenticeship like nobody else.
Yeah. Yeah, just being right here.
He can sit and watch Steve tattoo today if he wasn't in school. So the idea is that he'll come a couple days a week this summer, hang out, and we live in the country. I want him to see how I conduct myself when I'm talking to somebody that's from the hood or somebody that's from JMU. I want him to see how everyone here handles themselves.
Right.
Like, that's the stuff I really want him to absorb, because at 14 he's not going to be tattooing anytime soon.
Right.
Right. But when he's tracing, if Andy comes and looks over his shoulder, and he was using pencils, and one day Andy was like, "Hey man, check this out." Give him a micron and fucking change his life.
Oh, good.
I didn't want to give him the micron. I wanted him to get that in the setting from one of these guys.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And so that's what'll happen. Hopefully by him just being here.
Yeah.
But he's doing fantastic. His sister, Remedy, she's doing great. She's be 12 in about a month, and she's taller as her mama, maybe taller.
Wow.
And she's just fly, has a great sense of style, and
Good.
knows good music. And she might be listening to Patsy Cline. She might be listening to the Misfits.
Oh.
Can't tell. You know what I mean?
Awesome.
Yeah, she's something else.
Well, I appreciate your time, Nick.
Yes, ma'am.
I've enjoyed hearing you, and I didn't have to answer any questions and talk myself too much.
Yeah, anytime I get a chance to run my mouth,
I appreciate your time, and I'm sure people are going to appreciate hearing your point of view. You have a really good point of view on a lot of things.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure to do it.
And tattooing thanks you. Not that I speak for it, but
you can.
I get the feeling.
You got some years in the game.
I think if tattooing was speaking, it would say, Nick's all right.
Thank you.
Nick's fucking, you're down, man.
Yes, ma'am. I'll do it.
That's what
It's
it's
my,
about.
yeah.
And
That's what I love.
I've always said, Lou told me this, and I say it, that tattooing's like a car lot, and you need somebody to run the fucking place.
Yeah.
And it's important, and it's as important as any job.
Yeah.
To me, when people work for me, if you clean the toilet, you're as important as the tattooer.
Absolutely.
You're as important as me. Because it's all, you got to have it all to have a great shop, and you bring that together.
Thank
The
you
people that you bring here, and the way you handle yourself and you handle the shop, it's awesome. And this
Don't
place,
flatter me too much.
this place is a fucking tattoo haven. So come down to Alleycat Tattoo. Nick will hook you up here.
Absolutely.
They do piercing. They got the tattooers. I can't remember who all you got tattooing here. Do you want to say it?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Andrew Connor, Chris Porter, Trevor Smith, Richie Studler, Jake Hockman, and Brian Tiger. And that's his real name.
Oh, Brian Tiger.
Brian
Okay.
Tiger.
Well, you come see them. Come see Nick. And the piercers. You've got great piercers too.
Sarah Pennington and Kate Davis, the
Yeah.
best.
I'm gonna get Sarah to fix my ear up for me.
She's a bad
little
little
bit. And thanks.
Thank you. I really appreciate
All
it.
right. Appreciate
The
you.
best.
Yep. All right. That's it for now. We'll see y'all later. Okay. Take it easy. Till next time.